What's going on, traders? Yeah, I just want to get on here and share the trading afternoon with you. I had an appointment and stuff to go to this morning, so I ended up putting just a order that kind of got fucked in about 8:30. I put it actually in right about here. I woke up at like 8:30 to this massive sell-off for whatever reason. Put an order in here. My stop loss was like slightly beneath this guy. Everything was going well, and then all of a sudden the 10 o'clock hour came, and I don't know if you guys are aware of like that 10 o'clock candle on NQ lately has been very fucking volatile. And as you can see, right at 10 we go kind of a little pullback to totally getting wiped out. Not a huge ordeal because I only have 150 tick stop on the PA and the eval account, but it took one loss so far today. Wanted to get on here though now that I got some free time in the afternoon, as it looks to be kind of breaking up again to these new highs. It looks like it's starting to get above them, so hopefully hit this 21,845 level, which is a 300 tick stop, make 150 bucks for the day on the PA. I'm trying to maintain a little bit more discipline when it comes to position size, because the entire previous month I was going a little bit tilty, especially with the Trump tariff stuff. I was making a lot of big moves shorting the market and stuff prior to that, and I was just starting. I found that it's not so much the losing streaks for me that makes me start to go fucking nuts. Sometimes it can be when it's consolidating and it's just not making a move, and it's like you get a little bit into profit, then it goes away, a little bit in profit, it goes away, reverses, and you're stopped out. That kind of stuff starts to get a little bit draining. But like for me, big winning streaks start to make me maybe euphoric is the best word, and start to go way too heavy, feeling like I can't do no wrong, and start violating my own rules when it comes to position size. And I really want to get a payout, so I'm not really in a rush at the moment to make any money, really. Obviously am trying to make money at the the stock or the futures market, but like kind of focusing more on consistency more than anything, and just the market can be so stupid sometimes. I mean, like this move this morning was stupid to me. It's like you broke it. You had this sell off. I don't know if that was it was before 8:30, so I don't even think it was a news event. It was just something that it just happened, I guess. Normally at like 8:30 there's news events that can trigger big sell-offs, but there's nothing really that I was aware of that happened. So I figured, typically those kind of, and you can see it just wiped out all of these, really since almost the previous day. It wiped out all those gains that from about 4 o'clock on, and just wiped those gains out. And it was just like, okay, well, we're still above the 76.4 fib level. My back testing has shown that this is a pretty high probability for longs above 76.4, especially when it's coming from a lower level to moving higher. And so that's one of the main reasons why I wanted to long it. Besides, I got these algorithms going. I have this one's up $270 something. And this is a top step account where I'm just basically only trading it with algorithms for the most part. And then I have this Darwinex account, which I'm using algorithms too, but I got to get them dialed in a little bit better. The position sizing is still a little bit heavy. I have I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different algos running on this Darwinex account, which for those that don't know what Darwinex is, it's a kind of a cool thing where you can just do trading, and over time you can get payouts, but then their kind of benefit is that private investors can eventually invest with you. So I'm trying to keep the drawdown and the equity curve of this account really consistent and low drawdown, steady move up over time, and so I'm using the algorithms to do that. This particular trade I'm in though is a manual trade, so I'm still kind of trading manually, but when I do, I'm doing only 2 contracts on Nasdaq so that I can keep track of how many points they're moving. So 1400 is 147 ticks. 2 contracts is $10 a tick, so I can keep track of my winners and losers, and I can still kind of play different strategies out, but not have huge losses and stuff. One of my algorithms is going too heavy. I'm seeing my my live testing results. So they had 1, 2, 3 losers from it. One was 37.50, another one's 37.50, another one's $4,000 loser. So I want to dial those down to maybe $1,500 losers, because I'm getting my algorithms are over trading. I feel like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, there's 15 trades that happened today, which I feel like is too heavy. Not trying to pussyfoot around and not trade, because each one of those algorithms has its own little edge, and so I don't want to underdo it, but I also don't want to have the equity curve looked too risky either. I'm trying to just be consistent with it. That's kind of my motivation at the moment in my trading journey, is just to be more and more steady. It's somewhat difficult to do when you have Nasdaq price action the way it's been going. Not to make excuses for anything, but I don't know if people are just overly pessimistic towards Trump. It's almost like people just don't want him to be successful. It's like, if you look at kind of where we're at in the daily, we're pretty much back to the level we were before the big sell-off and everything. Not yet to those highs, but we have one more day, which I thought would be today, where we test that weekly high, hopefully break it, and go back up towards this range at least. But it's been consolidating, and like I said, it's almost like people are hoping that Trump fails, and this is super bearish. I don't know if that's real or if that's just me intuiting things that aren't real, but that's just how it feels like. It feels like the market's moving in a fucking uncertain way. People still got a lot of fear and uncertainty, and it's almost like they just don't want it to rip higher. That 10 o'clock candle has been, for the past couple weeks, super volatile for some reason. It's like I personally, I think if I'm in a trade before 10 o'clock, I'm going to get out of it from now on until that settles down a little bit. It's like, yeah, it works out cool if it's moving in your favor, but let's measure that. From 10 o'clock to 10, what is that shit? Why would that be right in the middle of everything? How do I move this so it's not... Values to show. All I care about is the fucking tick. Where's ticks? Price, ticks, angle. Look at all these options that you can do. Delta. I guess it's nice to have all of them, but... Okay, so now we're can kind of see a little bit better. So from there to there, almost 400 ticks in what, 10 minutes? That's retarded. For like no reason. It's like it broke a new high, yeah. You would think it would pull back a little bit better than that, you know? Not better, I mean, not a complete sell-off at freaking 10 o'clock in the morning, but that's the kind of shit show that Nasdaq's been doing for a while now. Which is why I'm going smaller size and just letting things just play out a little bit longer over a longer stretch. Right now, trading, it's 2 o'clock Eastern time, you know, going into power hour at 3. It's essentially just chopped around most of today. But one of the things it's been doing is having these like chop fest, and then like now, like 2 o'clock, weird midday just trends, you know, just all of a sudden you know, after 11 you have like, yesterday it was a pretty bullish day. But you see these 9, or is that probably the 10 o'clock, just a 10 o'clock just a retarded move. Oh shit. You got these big engulfing candles going on. I mean, like I said, it's been kind of squirrely, but good news is the chat is now working. The past couple live streams, the chat wasn't available, but now the chat's available. So if anybody does dip in, you know, appreciate you being here. Try to be a little bit more interactive with the chat and everything. Hopefully the levels sound okay. I've been kind of tinkering with just different volumes for the music. My computer, with all these apps and all these trading things going on simultaneously with streaming, it's just like the fan seems obnoxiously loud. And so I think I'm gonna buy another 2 on Apex eval. just with this little pullback. It's 2188 is the weekly high. You can see it's pretty much been moving sideways since, was that 2 p.m. yesterday? No, 1 p.m. We got the S&P, looks like it's a little bit bullish today. I tried out a new algorithm. I just created it actually. I was listening to a guy who's like talking about the candlestick open strategy for Nasdaq, which today I don't think it was successful. Kind of was, but I think I went well with that. It's an algorithm for the ATR stop loss, but it's basically if the first 5 minutes of the Nasdaq 9:30 candle closes, if it closes bullish, then long bias the day. If it closes bearish, short bias for the day. And that's just a buy on the first 5-minute candle after the 9:30 to 9:35 5-minute candle. And I actually, I made this algorithm. I have it for sale actually. If anybody just wants to use it. Super simple how it works, but like yeah, it's like a profit factor of 1.5. I think 1.5. I have the stats actually. I'll just pull it up so you guys can check it out. This candle open strategy, and so today it closed bullish, and so you can see with this algorithm I have it set so you can turn the shorts off. It's kind of, if it's a bear market, it's a little bit better, or if it's a bull market, just to turn the shorts off. But it's got a 1.5 profit factor, and that's doing almost one trade every other day, 368. Got a 55% win rate on just doing bull candles, but this one is doing one every day for 3 years. The best option is a 1.58 profit factor, but the most profitable one is actually this 1.34, which I kind of liked it because it's got a little bit better win rate, where it's at 34.86%, which psychologically is a little easier to handle. But its profit factor is like 22 grand in 3 years with only buying one contract on a micro, actually, a one micro Nasdaq. And you can see the equity curve is decently, decently bullish. And so, yeah, I had that algorithm actually going on Top Step, and then I actually just got in on this, actually DarwinX account too, but it was successful to a point so far this morning. I'm curious how far I missed that by. I think I bought that. I must have barely missed it because that's 500 ticks, and that's about what my stop loss or my take profit was 500 because I wanted to make 500 bucks today. If I didn't get so greedy, I would have got it this morning. But like, yeah, then there's the sell-off, and it kind of went to shit. So. Live and learn. Don't be so greedy, but we'll see if the rest of the day here turns out to be bullish. do one more on the PA. This is the way that's kind of curling. Looks like it's getting ready to, especially on the 5 minute, it looks really bullish. With it being mid-afternoon, I don't know what the ATR is off the top of my head here. I don't have it on the chart, but it doesn't seem to be moving super crazy. But if we have a breakout here and it starts going bullish for the day, for whatever reason, that it will, you know, break this high and hit that one, and yeah, maybe even go higher. I don't know. That'd be nice. Through back testing, I feel a lot more confident in like trading continuations, because as you can see, like over the past 15 minutes, it's been going up, 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 up. My statistics and back testing show me time and time again that if it's trending in a direction, even temporarily, it's better to go with it than against it and try to catch a top or bottom. It looks like we just broke a new high. This past month has really broken my love for trading, or maybe it's not even love, you know, maybe it's like an addiction, you know, because like anymore it's like I just want to hit the take profit and be done, where in the past, like I was always kind of curious, what's the market doing, am I missing out on something, oh, you know, if it moves in a big way, I would have felt like shit if I wasn't in on it, or now I kind of don't give a shit, especially doing the algorithms. It makes you like just appreciate only really being in the market when there's like a profitable reason to be, versus just like gambling and hoping. A lot of times Nasdaq, once it breaches these Bollinger bands, if it starts to trend, it'll use them as support. Sometimes they act as resistance, but I have a feeling like on the bigger time scale, it's heading towards that weekly. That got moved. Yeah, it looks like it's heading towards that weekly high, that 21,888. But like I said, it's just meandering sideways kind of, and a slow grind up. but this is mid-afternoon, 2 o'clock. Sometimes you'll see a price respecting the 5-minute, 20-period moving average on Nasdaq as like a temporary support. That and VWAP in the 50-period. Jump in chat, see if anybody's in here. Doesn't look like it. Oh, Samir, what's going on? 37% on ATR. Is that a fib level we're talking about? Should get that chat popped out so I can see it as I'm trading. Yeah, I like to trade the 4-hour candle closures, like 1 p.m. to 5. And I don't fuck with the 5 to 9, but like I might get in on the 9 o'clock and just see how it does till 1. Go to bed. Maybe put an order in at 9 a.m. That was kind of the idea this morning after seeing what it was doing with this just no reason sell off. But then I like to keep an eye on the different time frames for different reasons. There's kind of like a misnomer, about like the 20-period moving average on the 5-minute is 250 minutes. But then if you look at the 20-period on like the 1-minute chart, it's only the past 20 minutes, but people don't seem to realize that they're all measuring the same. It's a lot of psychology that more than anything, it seems like. But I've been trying to get better at playing the higher time frame, just because it's it's kind of relative, where it's just like smaller size, bigger stop loss, but bigger take profit. But there's not the instant gratification of like catching a quick scalp or something. You have to deal with like the meandering dumb bullshit of it just kind of just creeping along. But the upside of that is a lot less opportunity for losses. And one of the things I've come to realize through backtesting a lot of these algorithms and everything is, so much of this is probability based, and if you are not diligent with stop loss and take profit levels, you might only have like 57% win rate, which is only 7% better than just randomly just entering in on a coin flip strategy. And so like you might have these situations where you get these clusters of losers for no reason other than just like these probabilities are not in your favor, Or you get this dumb shit like that. Like this morning, I'm still kind of salty about, where it's just like, if I would have just, you know, not been so greedy, I would have got that big win before I got fucked on this stupid ass, no reason, just panic, sell off. But, you know, trying to do more of a bigger position, you know, taking a 300 tick profit takes a little bit of time to get to it, but it also takes a little bit of time to get to a 150 tick loser too. If you're going to think about that in terms of points, it's roughly about 40 points to what, 50 points? No, what's 300 divided by 4? Is that 8, 7, or no, 7, like 7 something, 70 points. Yeah, I just keep thinking now, my back tests show this weekly fib above 76.4 to 100 is like most profitable in back testing. So that's why I'm hopeful that we'll catch something substantial here, but I don't even really like being in the market anymore after lunch. But like I said, I had an appointment and I'm trying to get better at just doing these live streams. It forces me to be more disciplined and follow like my own trading plan when I know people are possibly watching. It holds me accountable better. You know, I've done music for a long time, you know, so it's like being in front of people helps me stay in kind of like a flow state, where I think some people like the idea of like public speaking or doing shit publicly is like makes them want to shit their pants or whatever. But like, you know, for me, I'm kind of the opposite. Just it makes me more focused, knowing that people you know, could be talking shit, you know, oh, you know, he's like can't even hold his emotions, he's pushing buttons like an idiot, blah blah blah. Yesterday when I was trading, you could hear my wife screaming in the other room. My cat somehow brought a snake into the house, and like we live in Indiana, so I mean that's not normal. You know, I don't see a lot of snakes in Indiana. Not like Florida where you can see snakes all the time. It's like rare to see a snake. I probably haven't seen a snake in over 10 years, but they say that there's rattlesnakes that can be in Indiana. There's not really poisonous snakes though. I think it was a gardener snake, but it was big. It was like almost like a foot long. Big enough where it's like I felt almost intimidated to freaking grab it. And you never know what kind of neighbors you have that have these venomous fucking snakes as pets that they just get out or let them loose. It's like getting to be summertime here, and so it's like hot, you know, hot enough for reptiles to be fine. My mom claims she's seen a rattlesnake before when she was walking on railroad tracks, and she threw a rock at it and it started rattling. They also say there's water moccasins, which I don't know what those look like. I've seen a snake as I'm fishing. It was on top of the water. I don't know if that was a water moccasin though. Daily true range so far is 158 points. Average true range 431. I'm long 2, targeting recent last week's highs. Right, 100%. What is my best algo year to date? It kind of depends. And I say that because like I have algos from MetaTrader, which I'm using for DarwinX, and I thought they would work like equally as good on NinjaTrader, but they don't for some reason. And like they're using the same like formula. Basically, how a lot of them work, it's based on like what I'll do is do a Bollinger Band touch, and then from there, I'll measure the upper and the lower Bollinger Band as a fib array. So the upper band will be 100, 50 will be 50 on a fib, and 0 will be the lower band. And so that works really well for like an upper band touch, and a continuation would be then a buy at a either 50 at the level 50 or 60 or 63 or 63, and that works really well on NinjaTrader, but doesn't work as well on MetaTrader. And so MetaTrader, or on MetaTrader 5, what works better is a drop trigger algorithm that I made, where it's like same principle. It touches the upper Bollinger Band, and then it waits for X amount of ticks drop. So it's like it'll touch, and then it's like for Nasdaq, I think I have it. This setting that works the best is I have it wrote down. Can't remember, 200 ticks. $195 tick trigger. So basically the way that one works, it's the same principle where it touches the upper Bollinger Band, but instead of doing a fib array from the top and the bottom of the deviation band, it just one touch activates it, then it waits for it to drop 195 ticks, and then it'll put a 50 tick take profit and a 50 tick stop loss. And that has a profit factor of 1.9 over almost 2,000 trades. I think that was a 5-year period. I have another one which I don't use because I stopped doing the trying to catch the reversals and mean reversions and those types of algorithms, just because if I'm going to have two running side by side, I thought for like a moment, it's like, okay, well, if I do a trend continuation algorithm and then have a mean reversion algorithm running on the same chart, it'll catch these kinds of like counterintuitive moves and it would like double dip on it. But it just starts to overtrade like that from my experience. But that one is I don't have the information of how many trades, but that was a profit factor of 1.33. The best profit factors I've gotten are around on NinjaTrader 1.5 to 1.35. I have another one that does that kind of same strategy, only with instead of like a 50 deviation moving average, it's VWAP. And so if it does 2 deviations from VWAP, it does that same kind of a fib array from like the top to the bottom, and then I just optimize it on NinjaTrader to see which entry level is the most profitable, and then it'll use like an ATR based stop loss and take profit to just automate it. So like the whole thing is dynamic on some level, and it's profitable, like I said, like 1.34, but the equity curve is pretty stable. The drawdown is pretty low. That candle break strategy actually is like pretty profitable too. I mean, that one was if the 5-minute candle closes bullish on Nasdaq from the 930 to 935, then start longing with a pretty big ATR stop loss and take profit. So it's kind of like hitting a home run. But that one was like 1.5 profit factor and like less net profit over the same 3-year back test, but still like decent. Level 2, no, I haven't used the level 2 market data. I've thought about fucking with it, but I don't know. It's one of those things. I have a hard time wanting to spend the extra money for the level 2, just because it'd be so new. But I've been thinking with volume nodes, like using volume nodes as an algorithm system, and Delta, which would use level 2 data, and I thought that might be a good way to make an algo that was volume based, because I've kind of figured, I wouldn't say I've figured out the market or whatever, but the strategy that I've been doing has to do with like understanding triads, which a lot of people think the market's bulls and bears. But from my kind of take on the market, it seems like it's a triad, whereas you have algorithms that function on kind of logic-based condition that are just waiting to be triggered. Then you have gamblers that move prices way out of balance, like to the 2 deviation band in the Bollinger bands, also like RSI above 70 or below 30. They're selling into oversold and buying into overbought conditions. But the problem is, if the volume is filled with gamblers in the room, they're going to push price way further than logically what seems possible, like normal. And so the algos just get wrecked if they keep trying to mean revert in those conditions. And so so the 3 participants then are, you have the algos that a lot of times are mean reverting, functioning on like recognizable patterns, like bouncing cleanly off of a moving average, and using volume to kind of deduce which is the more dominant force. Is it the algos? Is it the gamblers in the room? And then you have the strategy traders that understand both aspects. So it's like they can tell when algos are dominant versus when the gamblers are dominant. And if the gamblers are dominant, the strategy traders hop on with the gamblers and ride these imbalance waves. And then when the algos start to assert dominance, then the strategy kind of traders start to ride those mean reversion trends. A lot of times the prey is always for the most part the gamblers that end up buying at the worst possible times and selling at the worst possible times and getting squeezed and liquidated. I put a lot of that stuff. I do everything kind of for free on Profit Smasher. I do a lot of those kind of articles to kind of explain that to people, just because a lot of people think in terms of dyads instead of triads. But even our natural world is on triads with herbivores, carnivores, and omnivores. Carnivores, herbivores, and omnivores. And like the archetypes are kind of similar, where it's just like you have the carnivores that kind of act like the algos that are just like a cat waiting to get triggered by a stimulus. And you have like the sheep or the herd, the stampede of the gamblers, especially during New York session, especially during the open or news events and shit like that. And then you have like bears, being like an omnivore that can tell the season between the two. But yeah, I believe in kind of a abundance, so I just give all that kind of knowledge and all these things away. I sell the algorithms for people that want to buy them, but for people that are just like kind of nerdy and like to just make algorithms, I'd tell you exactly how they work. You can make them for yourself. I do it all on ChatGPT. That's how I'm able to even do them. I'm not smart enough to code like that. So I use actually. I used to use ChatGPT, and I go back and forth between Grok to see if the code even makes sense. If it's doing, because ChatGPT will like tell you like confidently one thing and then not even be doing it. Volume nodes and volume delta would be a great idea. Yeah, I was thinking it would be a good idea too with level 2 data, because you could use the volume nodes as like a support and resistance, or at least then you could maybe even do like you don't even need to get the full move from node to node. You could just get like the chunk of it, and if you use delta to see if the sentiment was starting to shift more towards the buy side or sell side, you wouldn't need to get from one complete node to the next. You could get like a relative position size, based on the difference between one node to the other. Get like 60% of the move, but position it. Position it so that you would get whatever percent profit you're trying to get. But I like that kind of I like the math of trading and kind of like making algorithms and stuff. It's really satisfying actually. With you have an algorithm going and you wake up in the morning and it just successfully like traded London session while you were sleeping. Because I'm on Eastern time, so. I think that's like it's just like a satisfying feeling. Like currently I'm trying, you know, with Darwin X, I have these different algorithms going. I have you know, these different things, pulse point, VWAP strike, those are all trend continuation. But the problem is I'm still trying to dial in on pulse point for ES, for example. Max trades per day is 5. I should lower that, I would think. I was trying to put it up too high, I think, just because I wanted to get the data of live testing and seeing how it performs. But then this other one, I'm going to do that probably after the market close, not VWAP strike. Yeah, this pulse point. You know, with it being such a high profit factor, I was going too high on it with the contracts. Yeah, 15. Probably going to dial that back down to maybe 5. You know, just because I think that one has a max of 4. Yeah, max of 4. You know, if I lose 4 trades, that's like almost $4,000 a piece. It's too much. Yeah, that's MetaTrader 5. I use that for Darwin X. I was actually going to trade. There was a futures company in the United States that uses MetaTrader 5 for futures, and I was going to basically use these algorithms to trade futures on MetaTrader only. But then they were such a pain in the ass to try to get money to for some reason. You know, it's like I'm trying to, you know, open up a live account with them, and you know, it's like I have a handyman business, and I have an LLC where my bank account doesn't have my name on it necessarily. It does, but then it also has my business name, and yeah, they wouldn't take money from me because of that, and then so I'd have to open up a whole new bank account. I couldn't even just use a debit card to put money onto their system, and so I'm like on a standstill with them. And so that's why I started doing NinjaTrader. But NinjaTrader is pretty cool because it has this. If you go to NinjaTrader, they have this strategy analyzer option, and this isn't a plug for NinjaTrader or anything, but let's see if this loads. My computer's, I got so much shit going on. If it ever loads. Well, anyway, this strategy analyzer lets you do optimization settings, and so you can plug in all of these different inputs, like you know, ATR from 1 to 20 with a 2 tick or a 2 times ATR stop loss to 10, and then do that for the take profit and everything, and then you can just run all these iterations and it'll spin out the best setting. And it's so it's much better than like with MetaTrader. I don't know what that's saying. And so I'll show you real quick. So like candle open is that new algo I just made for the Nasdaq 5-minute open. And so for example, you can do an ATR period from we'll do like a small one where 8. Or you gotta change it to optimization, and then you go minimum of 8 to 9. Then you can do the increment of you'd even do half. Then you can do the stop loss from 11, or we'll do 4 to 11. In 1 increment, take profit, do 27, 28, contract size, I'm just do 1, we do on Nasdaq here, 5-minute, And then with this particular algorithm, you can turn the shorts on or off. We'll just turn it off so it does this faster. Then you just hit run. What the fuck does that mean? I might have another one of those. There, that should work. Oh, we'll do just a 3-year back test. 6, 22, and just hit run. Now it'll do 32 iterations. It'll do all those different options. And if you change that from like 1 to 10, it would just. The problem is if you do too many of them, it'll go days long. So you have to kind of get it dialed in. But it just did all those iterations that you don't get to spend the time fucking with it. And then it just shows you like profit factor 1.57. It'll show you the chart, how that looks. You can go to the summary and you can kind of see with the shorts off. This is the data. You know, it's like average winning trade about $300. So with one micro, that's about 600 take profit for 300 tick stop loss, and that's ATR based, and it's showing that the ATR period that's best is 9 periods, so that 45 minutes. ATR multiplier 5 is showing that it's the most profitable setting. ATR multiplier for take profit 28. And so you can do these algorithms and just do all this optimization without having to sit there and just do it one at a time like in MetaTrader. In MetaTrader, you have to hit one, change it one thing at a time, and it takes forever to do all these iterations. That's what's cool about NinjaTrader, and plus it does algos in C#, A and P for futures. That's what it is. Yeah, I just had a hard time getting money to them, and so it's just like they're on a standstill. But things work out for the best, because now doing NinjaTrader, doing these different algos, that optimization stuff is really nice and really helpful to get some confidence in what the market, putting live trades in when it's like, okay, instead of trying to catch a bottom here or a top, it's better according to all these back tests all the time. It just gives you more confidence than just manually trading. Another thing is like moving stop loss. I do some algorithms that have like a break even with a buffer. So it's like after, like, say I have a 5 ATR take profit, the break even could be like after 2, then go to break even, and then the buffer could be like 1, so that you like still get a little bit of profit if it goes against you. You would think that would be better, for like squeaking out higher win rates and profit, but it really is like sometimes marginal at best, and sometimes it's negative efficacy. And so it makes it easier not to want to fuck with the stop losses and take profit when it's not really long term the best move to do that. On market replay, is that on? I've only messed with NinjaTrader's optimization and backtest. I haven't messed with the market replay function. On MetaTrader, they have, what is it called? The visual mode, where like a lot of times I'll like kind of watch these different strategies play out, but I haven't messed with that. Yeah, you gotta give. I think if you don't let it have room to breathe, it's just an instantly. It's on NinjaTrader. It's more accurate. I'll have to check it out because I enjoy making these algorithms. Like I said, I kind of geek out on it a little bit because oh, you gotta download the data. Takes a while. I know it lets you do tick data too, because like one of the things, like you can use like bar close data, or you can use the tick data. And when you do the optimization with tick data, it makes it takes a long time. Like it's almost like you do it and then go to bed and then see what it does in the morning. You gotta download the data, yeah. Yeah, that's almost one of those rookie mistakes, though, not letting the trade have room to breathe. It's so infuriating too when you don't, and then you get like that one. I keep going back to that 10 a.m. thing, you know, but it's like you get this one little errant candle that just comes and just tap, doop, and then away we go. It's infuriating, but you know, if people are like me, you almost got to learn the hard way. How many times you need to be stopped out and then watch it just go in the go to TP before you just give yourself a little bit more room than the average person does. I was trying to make algorithms to kind of scan for these different pivot points using slope. That was another one I thought was kind of an interesting idea. You know, is to, okay, for example, if you have like a 4 hour, you got a high and a low, you can triangulate the position, and then basically use the triangle. What the heck is that name of that formula? Well, you can basically use the triangulation to do the slope. And so, for example, if the slope was a certain level moving upwardly, then it, you know, enter a buy. If it was like triangulated downwardly, enter a short. And I thought that was kind of a cool concept. I still kind of think that it has potential, because the thing about algorithms is they don't really have a sense of past unless you give them a look back period. They only have the present moment and don't really have relevancy towards what has like happened that led up to the present moment. So if you can give context of like past, present, and then future, which is another kind of triadic way of looking at it, you can get a little bit more contextual awareness, because otherwise it's just like, oh, it just touched this, then go. But if you can kind of see it slope down this, and then it pivoted, and now it's got a new slope angle, you might be able to kind of like deduce some kind of pivot points and be a little bit more intuitive before taking a trade. Yeah, it's been chopping around. It's been, you know, it's almost 3 o'clock too, and you know, it's one of those things. You know, it's like, it's so frustrating because it's been chopping around for like the past couple of weeks. You go like an entire hour of just chop and barely doing anything, and then all of a sudden there's just these stupid moves. I'm hoping at 3 we get like the power hour rally and not a freaking sell-off. Got 30 seconds before the candles close. It's infuriating when they close, and so it's like all of a sudden dialing around chop fest for an hour, then you know, straight down. It's like, what the hell? Come on. power hour for me has been so-so when it comes to trading. And sometimes catch a decent move, and then other times just be really off. Looks like the 5 minutes holding at the 20 period moving average. But it just would make perfect sense that this thing is going to... What is that? I need to get better measurement there. 21,862 looks like it's more in line with the high. No, I mean, it just makes perfect sense that this is where price is going. I mean, it makes perfect sense to me and Samir. If Apple and Tesla can catch some momentum, we should rally into the close. Meta's having a great day. I guess that's good. Meta's really can. Meta and Apple can really move Nasdaq. What am I doing? Now we're kind of catching some momentum now. How much? I gotta measure this guy. We got about 300 ticks to that high. The way things are going, it wouldn't shock me if it touches that high and freaking retraces. And try again tomorrow. Gold has been surprisingly good to trade with algorithms. I never had much luck with just trading gold with price action and indicators and stuff, but using these drop triggers for gold seems to be pretty effective. I was getting about 1.46 profit factor with gold on backtest and MetaTrader. Not so good though with NinjaTrader, so I don't know why. You would think that a drop trigger is a drop trigger, but I don't know if it measures the deviations differently, or I don't know why it's different. I tried getting some answers from like ChatGPT why one would show different backtest data, because that would make a big difference, you would think. Looks like these candles are a little bit bigger than... Here comes the push. Yeah, I'm hoping so. Did the contract already roll forward? I'm on June contract still. I'm not sure. Front month. I don't know what the heck we're on. Gold, silver and gold, man, those shorts can be surprising. Some of my biggest losses have come from trading those, but like I only trade those now with an algorithm, just because I want to say they're the easier, but like they seem to, especially gold, not so much with the VWAP deviation strategy, or I also have that same strategy just with the moving averages, but it works well with a 2 deviation touch plus a pullback of first trigger 70 70 ticks. The other one's 40 ticks for a trigger. And they're pretty relatively small sizes. So it's like the first one, it's 55 tick stop loss, 100 ticks take profit, 40 tick stop loss, 170 tick take profit. So not huge holds on those guys, but been waking up a lot to a lot of winners during London session with those. But I wouldn't, you know, just straight up trade them anymore. The only thing I just straight up will trade is just Nasdaq, and I'll trade Bitcoin too if it's doing something. You know, most of the time it's just dawdling around, getting shorted, it seems like. But then you get these days where it just rips. And hopefully here's the push. Nice, Apple moving. Hopefully it gets that push. Are you trading micros on them? Yeah. The only one I'll trade the minis on is Darwin X, just because that one by default is like a $1 million account, and so I'm trading Nasdaq, NQ, and then Apex and Top Step. I'm trading MNQ. Generally, like 2 contracts of the micros. I'm doing 3 at the moment because it's just dawdling around so much. But for Top Step, a lot of those algorithms that are programmed on either one contract on micro, just because I could have like 3 of them simultaneously going. There was a time I was going a lot heavier, like 5, but I'm trying to just, like I said, be more consistent in like the losing and the winning. So it's like smoother equity curves. Like my goal for like Darwin X is just to have a nice stable equity curve during the tariffs. I was making a lot on that account, but then the equity curve was so choppy, and like if I was going to put a lot of money with like somebody to trade my own cash with, I'd probably want somebody that was just more stable and reliable versus maybe the big home run hitter. Hopefully that, what did you say, Apple? Hopefully that thing's still not the algos. That's what I'm trying to do with the Top Step is pass it with the algos. I just started creating those. I think what is today? This is June. I think last month was the first month that I started using them, and then I got stupid, and like it was during the Apex was doing this. That's where I passed this account, was that 90% off Apex thing, and like once I passed this, then I had 2 evals that I was doing. I was up like 1,000 on one, I think 700 on the other one, and once I passed that one, I started getting super impatient, and I just wanted to pass the Top Step one too, just so I had one funded account on Apex that I was trading on Darwin X, and then one, or not Darwin X, but on Quantower, and then the other one with algorithms. And so I just started manually trading that NinjaTrader, and I fucked them up. It was just retarded of me. And so yeah, now with the current setup, I haven't even touched the Ninja Trader other than the algos, and I think I'm up 500. Let's see. Today is down. So no, I'm up 428. Today I get open position at 255. I should probably hide these account names. They're just evals, so I don't think it matters. But like, yeah. So it's like I was down 326, but I've got an open position at 246 in profit. So I'm just going to be patiently just letting this thing go. My goal is like I got stepkids and stuff. My goal is to get these algorithms live tested, profitable, and so I can just give them to my stepkids and just let them do the same thing with like different prop accounts and whatever, and try to make some money for themselves too. I know not everybody has the patience to learn how to trade, because it takes a lot of. I've been self-employed for over a decade, so it's like for me it's not that big of a. I had a music business I still have it. This music playing in the background is something I made, but like I did that for exclusively for like 12-13 years, and then I have a handyman business too, which is like 8 years old, and so I'm kind of used to the hustle, I guess, of like learning a new skill, being unprofitable for a while, dealing with that and pushing through it to learn something new. But I can see why a lot of people would just freaking, I don't know, just become so super triggered and probably lose their whole life savings, and it'd be a curse more than a blessing. Yeah, hopefully, yeah, silver is crazy. Silver, some of my biggest losses have come from silver and gold just because of those big moves, and then they start getting shorted, and it's just like no stop to the short. It's crazy. Let's see if this is now the push after the chop fest for now an hour. We got one attempt to go down, 2, 3. Actually, let's back up here. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 attempts to go lower. Earlier in the week, around, I think it was 10 o'clock, it had 5 attempts consolidating, going lower, about the same kind of zone where it's just like no. And it took 5 attempts before it finally broke out and started pushing. I'm hoping by doing these, with you guys watching and everything, be able to like show consistency enough to have this account get to pay out, which is this PA. I think I don't want to show the actual account on that one just because I don't know if people can shyster it or not, but I think I'm up almost $1,000. I think about $1,000 to get a payout with them. Like, you have to get $2,600 locked in. You have to make $4,000 basically. I think $4,000, and the earliest is 8 days, something like that. I'd show it in the arithmetic, but the arithmetic is doing the top step account too, so I don't want to screw up that. I don't think it will screw it up since I have a trade on that's actively going. I think it's this Nasdaq. You know, this one's actively going, so it's like I don't wanna fuck that up. Yeah, you can see like 10 o'clock got screwed on that guy. I need to get over that. I'm still kind of salty over that. I'm like watching paint dry, isn't it? Yeah, this time around I'm gonna just take my time with it. I think part of like my problems with trading is just trying to flip shit too fast. You know, it's just like, and it's retarded because I don't even really need the money. You know, it's like, it's more about just like doing it just to do it. You know, I had 2 Top Step accounts that I got to express funded in a matter of like 2 days. You know, it's just like I got 1,500 the first day, boom, 1,500 the next day, boom. I did it. It's super easy. It's super fast. I get on one. I got, I don't know, I didn't even know why I was doing it. I think part of it is from trading Darwin X. This big size is like makes you not appreciate these little small dinky numbers or whatever. But like, you know, I ended up getting up one day on the express funded almost $3,000, and like I just didn't stop. I ended up blowing the account. It's just like, what are you doing? It was one of the main reasons I started doing the algorithms, actually, is just to get a hold of myself a little bit better. And, you know, partly why I'm doing these live streams, so I'm not, you know, so I hold somewhat myself accountable to somebody. Shoot for 400 per day. Yeah, 500 counts. Yeah, 2 grand. Yeah, and the crazy, you know, my handman business, I shoot for 500 a day. You know, and it's just like, I don't know why when it comes to trading, yeah, push. You know, I don't know why with trading it's like, you know, 400 or 500 doesn't feel like a lot, even though it's like, you know, with my handyman business, like, you know, I could be like working very hard like all damn day just to make 500 bucks. And in trading, it's, I don't know if it's because it's, you know, quote unquote easier, or it's just like, oh, you know, it didn't even, you know, there's something to be said about the psychological toll that just watching prices dick around plays on you for an hour or two. But yeah, you're right. I need to just, you know, lock in like 400, 500, and then just focus on just doing that again with another 50K account, another 50K account, and just kind of growing it like that versus you swinging for the fences. That's my problem. And that's why I'm forcing myself in these, you know, 2 to 3 contracts on this PA, and going much bigger stop loss, take profit, so it's not over trading too. That's another problem. I appreciate you being here. You know, it's nice that, you know, this price action, you know, for at least another person on planet Earth to be kind of dealing with this chop fest too. hoping for a free. Who? Yeah, I wonder. Who's out there is like on the other side, just hoping for or that is just loving this price action. That's the crazy part. There's somebody probably out there right now that's like been waiting all day for this chop fest and they're just loving it. Waited all week for this chop fest. Put 300 real cash next to your real desk every time you lose. That's a good idea. Make it more real. Yeah, I hate this chop fest too. It's infuriating. Looks like we're now for the 5th time, which maybe is now. We go 1 attempt, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times to. I don't know how all traders are not in some sort of an agreement. It's just like, how are we not trying to go higher? Why are we not trying to test that high? It's like, it's right there. It's like, why are we dawdling around? Doesn't everybody want to test this? Who doesn't want to test that? You know what I mean? But I guess there's more to, I guess, the market dynamics than just retail traders wanting to hit highs and lows. But still, I mean, what are we doing? We've just been consolidating enough. Freaking, how many points is this? I'm not. 100-point range for an hour. I would hate to be the guy that's like over leveraged in this price action right now. That can about drive you nuts. This consolidation if you're in like way too heavy of a position. Enough to make you go insane. Yeah, it does. It feels like a freaking holiday. I don't know what the deal is. I'm about to just close this guy out, but I just have this feeling it's like as soon as I close it, it'll finally just break loose. But I almost, at this point, with as much dawdling around for the past hour, like it almost is like if it just all of a sudden just tanks, that loss, it might be really a hard pill to swallow. I just don't think it's going to drop though. I mean, it's just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 attempts to go lower for whatever reason when we have this juicy high right over here. It makes no sense. But today a lot of the market hasn't made any sense the past couple weeks. It's been real shitty and consolidating. What is this, 15-minute? Yeah, I think you're right. I think I should just keep like $100 next to my computer. I've been working like more actively on just gratitude, and I think that would help, you know, kind of cement more of a gratitude state of mind. I try to, you know, keep an abundant state of mind, you know, just not a scarcity mindset. But like a gratitude towards like $100 would be a good move in the right direction. Samir, does all you do trade, or do you have a business? You do? Abraham Hicks, yeah, I've been into a lot of those personal development types, Think and Grow Rich, and like Neville Goddard, and just the whole metaphysics thing. You know, I put it into practice. You know, I try to, at least, being mindful, and yeah, that's been a big part of my kind of well-being, is you know, the personal development stuff, and not so much law of attraction, but like more like the law of assumption, remodeling sales. Yeah, so you're kind of in the construction field too. Yeah, I've been looking to flip houses, but there hasn't been anything around me. Now you just trade full time. That's cool. Yeah, like I trade like every day. You know, I kind of set I'll trade in the morning a lot of times, and I'll do like handyman jobs in the afternoon. I kind of like doing both. You know, I like being physically active and stuff. I play guitar too still. Napoleon Hill books, yeah. Yeah, there was a time, you know, I was going through so many of those books every week. You know, I'd listen to them while I was working. I'm trying to think of Joseph Benner has a good one. What's his name? Dr. Joseph Murphy. All the, you know, the subconscious mind stuff. I think we earned this one if you know, we finally catch a big freaking turnaround up here. Looks like it's kind of starting to be an engulfing candle. The real estate market is way overpriced, and rate are very high too. Yeah, that's what it's doing over here too, where I live. In Indiana, you know, it's like I have a credit line that I've just been waiting to use. I have rental properties, and like you know, with the handyman business, I was looking to, you know, flip some places. I flipped 4 properties a year or two ago, all for a profit, but like ever since, there's just been the rate, you know, I can't find a deal on anything. It's just like everything is just way overpriced, and like I can't find you know, I talked to like a real estate agent in town. I'm just like, hey, you know, where's your shit boxes at? You know, where's my handyman specials? And yeah, it just hasn't been anything shaken loose. I don't want to say I'm hoping for a crash or anything, but like if it does happen, it would be nice to swoop in. I was gonna offer like a deal. I was gonna like kind of try to work with you know, people where it's just like, instead of using my whole credit line, I was going to like give them like 4%, maybe 5%. I don't know, maybe more than that. I don't know. Basically, they buy the place, I'd flip it, I'd pay them, you know, 4 or 5%, then give them money back on close, and then I'd keep the difference. I thought that was kind of a good deal for people, but I haven't found anything that's, you know, a good investment as far as real estate around here yet. Oh, here we go. This is our moment. This is what we've been waiting for an hour and a half. Oh boy. Here's that breakout. Big engulfing candle there. What's the 5 minute look like? Uh-oh, look at that. Now what are we gonna do? I hope it's the rip. I'm about ready for the rip. It's either gonna rip or I'm gonna rip it loose. I'm gonna close the trade out and be grateful for my $71 and my negative $75 day, and start again tomorrow. What is today? Today's what, Tuesday? Today's Wednesday, June 4th. It's not a holiday. And now we're back to where we started almost. These are 27 hard-earned ticks here. Damn, I'm gonna rip my hair out too. This is infuriating. You know, stuff like this, it makes you just wonder. It's like, you know, about a third of people are like looking at this like this is like, oh, this is an obvious selling opportunity, and another third are like, oh, this is a perfect buying opportunity. I don't understand how people can't see that you know, that weekly high is so, or whatever the hell it is. I don't understand why it's not screaming up there. I mean, it broke a high this morning, broke a high again, and yet it's still just like dawdling. What's your position? Where are you at? I got in at 21.77 for the most part. Alright, now we made it back to the bottom of the range. Let's see, go bounce back to the top of the range again. for the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th time. On the 5 minute, we're under the 20 period moving average though. If it doesn't rip up shortly here, like the next couple candles here, I'm gonna probably close this position out. I don't like this meandering under, especially under the moving average after it's been lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high. Even though we've been bouncing off this level the past handful of times. Go one more attempt to go higher, and I'm gonna call her a day. $21,796. Yeah, you're not in a bad spot though. Getting a little engulfing candle. All right, maybe this is the push. This is my last attempt on this thing going any higher, and I'm just gonna call her a day because it's starting to give me a headache. Five minutes looking like it's closing kind of bearish. No. Let's see what this thing does. minute bouncing off the 50 period moving average. Maybe this was the shakeup we needed to get this thing moving up a little higher. A little shake before the bake. Oh, you're on micros. Oh, do we just get a little stop loss on it before we rip higher? Nice little bounce off the 50 period moving average to kick us up to the highs. Running out of power hour here. Five minutes looking pretty nice on that rejection wick. Hopefully that was the fuel to burn higher here. Is this finally the switcheroo here? Hopefully this is the push we've been waiting for however long. I'm gonna put these to break even. I don't trust another ride back down to the bottom. Especially when it could be, you know, bouncing off that moving average. The more it dawdles, the less I'm feeling like it's getting ready to rip. But you never know.
Order canceled.
Oh, crap.
Order canceled.
I'm just gonna cancel these.
Order filled.
I'm just canceling all this shit. I'm gonna call that a day. I'm done. I would say that's not a failure, you know, because we. Oh shit! Let me. I'm gonna bounce though. Yeah, I'm not gonna say that's a failure, but I'm not. I can't stick around for this price action much longer. It's infuriating, and it looks like it's getting ready to get bullish or bearish. So with that being said, you know, I appreciate, you know, liking, sharing, subscribing, all the social networking things, and until tomorrow.